Hello, Instagram. How are you this evening? I am Miss Shanda, and I am the mistress of the Pink Room. If you are joining me tonight, thank you for being here with me. I appreciate your presence so much. Tonight is a different show. Tonight I have guests tonight. So I'm going to be on my best behavior tonight. How you guys doing? Thank you for joining me. You know what's so beautiful about having you here with me tonight? You could be anywhere. You could be anywhere. You could be on somebody else's page. You could be watching TV. You could be watching The Housewives. But you are here with me tonight, and I appreciate and love you all so very much. Thank you guys so much for checking in with me tonight. As I stated, I have special guests tonight. And let me turn my music down. You guys know how much I love music, and I love house music. Hi guys. If you're new to the Pink Room, let me introduce you to the Pink Room. Guys, what is the Pink Room? The Pink Room is everything love, sex, and relationships with a little bochinche. Bochinche is gossip in Spanish, if you did not know that. I do the bochinche in pop culture. I start every show with what's popping in pop culture. And then we get into our sex, our love, and our relationships, and our marriage, and everything else in the middle. I love also, too, when I start the show, is say my hellos to you guys. Again, you could be anywhere, but you're joining me tonight. So, hello, officials. Tabitha, Christine, my guest is on at some point. I'm going to have her come in. Hello, Tabitha. How are you? Hi, BB on the beat. Thank you for joining me tonight. Tonight is going to be so special and so fun for me because I love doing interviews in the Pink Room. And this lady that we're reviewing her book tonight, we're going to get into who she is, why she wrote her book, and I got to tell you guys how we met. It was so different. It was so crazy how we met, but I'm so blessed to have her and her best friend and writer of the book. They both will be joining me tonight. Now, unfortunately, they're not in the same room. As you know, with Instagram, only one person on at a time. So I have to bring them on at separate times, okay? So Christine will be on first, and then Bobby will come in after her, okay? So, again, if you guys are just joining me, I have not started the bochinche, the gossip yet, but I'm about to start. And after the bochinche, we will be having our very special guest. So thank you again for tuning in with me tonight. So let's get into the bochinche. You guys know I can play my music all night, but I can't do that. Just know TV is in the works. I wanted to just throw that out there to you guys. Let y'all marinate on that. The Pink Room is coming to the small screen. Can you guys believe it? It's actually going to be coming to the small screen. And I actually do have more news to share with you guys as well. And I can't announce that yet, but I'm looking forward to an amazing 2021. So let's start with our bochinche, guys. Yes, Candy Crush. Finally, absolutely. So let's start with our bochinche. Pastor John Gray. If you guys follow me, you know that I did 2 posts on him this week. Pastor John Gray, whoever he's screwing on the down low, blew him up because that particular woman shared some video that he was complaining about his wife to. He even went as far as complaining to this young woman about, well, I don't know if she's young or not. I don't know about that. But he complained to this lady that his wife don't cook and basically she don't do nothing. And then he had the audacity to have his son in the car with him and asking his son to verify that all mommy do is cook pizza. Now, this is not the first time Mr. John Gray, because I don't feel good calling him pastor right now. Mr. John Gray, this is not the first time he's been caught with his hand in the cookie jar. His cookies have been so much that he fathered a child while married to his wife. His wife is named Eventer. I think I said it right, Eventer Gray. And I went on her Facebook, on her Instagram, and she still has it in her bio that she's the wife to Mr. John Gray. And here's the thing. John Gray, a lot of people follow him. There are a lot of people that love him. And I love the way that he pastors, to be honest. He pastors extremely well. Now, the man side of him, the husband side of him, he gives into the lust in the flesh. He gives into it. And here's the thing for me. I don't know how you can effectively lead a church and tell people to behave in a godly manner, and that's not what you're doing. Tabitha said that's why he brought his wife a new home a few months ago. He bought her a new home. He bought her a Lamborghini truck. I don't think that she'll leave him. I really don't. I think people get comfortable in their positions in life. Positions meaning I'm the wife of a pastor. I have an affluent lifestyle. I don't want my kids dealing with a divorce. Sometimes those church people, they really don't believe in divorce. They believe in through thick and thin and through embarrassment after embarrassment, you're going to put up with their stuff. I, for one, I'm not from that mindset. There's only so much embarrassment you could do with me. Candy Crush says, I never did trust mega church pastors. I am a huge fan of T.D. Jakes. I love T.D. Jakes. He does have a mega church. Me and T.D. Jakes, Pastor T.D. Jakes, we share the same birthday. He is someone that I defer to in terms of looking at him and connecting with him on that level. Now, I can't speak for everyone else, but for me, I do appreciate Pastor T.D. Jakes. Now, back to Mr. Gray. Mr. Gray is full of shit, and I'm just going to throw it out there. He's full of shit. You cannot be on TV. Now, we are allowed to make mistakes. Okay, we're human. We're going to make mistakes. But you can't be in control of a mega church. And this is not the first time that you've done this to your wife. And you didn't just do it to your wife. You did it to your children. Because however you behave within your marriage, you also are out there representing your children as well. So your children hurt behind the decisions and the choices you make. Not just your wife and not just the marriage. And family do too. Family do too. And also your congregation. If your congregation is saying and trying to recruit people to the church, what is it like for them? You have so much under you that look up to you and that are expecting you to lead, and that's not what you're doing. So I think he needs to step down. I think he needs to have more counseling for himself. And I think he needs to reevaluate if he wants to stay married or if he needs to stay married. I'm not sure if he's cut out for marriage. Quite a few people in the evangelical world have showed out this week. The next bochinche is Jerry Falwell. Jerry Falwell, his dad was actually Jerry Falwell Jr. is who I want to speak about. Him and his wife, I wrote everything down, Becky Falwell. They were in a cuckold relationship with a gentleman called named Giancarlo Granata. Do you guys know what a cuckold relationship is? A cuckold relationship is where we're in a relationship and one of us, or if not both of us, enjoy watching another person have sex with us. Yeah. I have had DMs where people have asked me to be in a cuckold relationship with them. And my fiance has had that as well. Men have gotten in his DM and asked him about screwing a woman and they watch. Kid you not. Sips my tea. Yeah, it happens. And when you talk about sex and relationships, people think that you're into all types of stuff, which people don't realize I'm very old-fashioned in certain ways and certain things. I'm very old-fashioned. And not that I don't critique people that do what they do, because I'm all for doing your thing. But if you are in charge of a church, how are you in... Lord have mercy, people are out here doing... Let me just read this to y'all. Jerry Falwell and his wife. Now, backstory on Jerry Falwell, he's an attorney and he's a prominent member of the evangelical Christian community. He is the president of Liberty University in Lynchburg, Virginia. And they asked him to step down because this whole story came out about this whole relationship that he's been in. Guys, mind you, this has been for years. This is not a new thing. This is years. Now, guess how they met him? They met Giancarlo at a Miami hotel. They met him at a Miami hotel and basically recruited him. And he started traveling with them. And what Giancarlo stated was that they've had affairs all across the country. They've had sex in hotel rooms all over the place. And from what I understand, Giancarlo is bisexual. Now, there was nowhere that I read that Jerry had a piece of him as well. From what I understand, Jerry just likes to watch. Now, here's my thing. I'm be very, very honest with you guys. I am all for people doing what they want to do. I am so big on that. I in no way judge what a couple wants to do sexually. I think what makes individual couples happy, they should do that. Absolutely, they should do that. If you are into cuckold relationships, if you are into threesomes, if you are into whatever you're into, that is you guys' business, right? But if you're married and you are trying to head a church, and if you are trying to lead people in a godly way and in a way that you are to set an example, you can't do that. Now, if you're in charge of the Cuckold Society of Virginia, that's different. Be the president of that shit all day, every day. But come on, what are you doing? Also, too, if you have a public position and whoever you're involved with, when you no longer want to be involved with them, they own you. They have the ability to destroy everything that you're building. Which is, who knows why all of this is coming out now? If this has been a cuckold relationship for years, why is it coming out now? Because somebody is pissed off. So now your business is out there. Now your business is out there. So now what? Now we know that you and your wife are into freaky stuff. Some of us are like, oh, yeah, good. But if you're a pastor, if you're leading a church, how are you going to lead me? When in terms of what the Bible says, you're not being a husband, you're not being a wife in that sense. That is just you two having sex together. The truth will always reveal itself, which lends to how I feel about people that cheat in their marriages or their relationships. I, for one, don't believe anybody should stress themselves out if their partner is cheating on them. The truth will always reveal itself. You cannot continue with deception and lies at any great length of time. Eventually, it's going to come out. It will always come out. It always reveals itself, which is why John Gray keeps getting in trouble, which is why Jerry Falwell is having a fallout with this whole cuckold relationship, which next week I am going to be discussing even more about cuckold relationship, because you know what, guys? It's very popular. It's very popular. And as we go on in time, more and more people are open to have cuckold relationships, to have, open marriages, and to have, not the norm of what the Bible tells us in terms of our marriages. But if you're going to head a church, you need to follow the book. Or you're just not going to have people believing in you and what you want to do. Okay, real quick, Stuart, let me say what you have to say. My mother used to say, what is done in the dark will come out in the... Absolutely. Absolutely. Riri says he was supposed to give a speech at the RNC. Maybe that's why it came out. Probably the Dems got a hold of it. Guys, let me know if I freeze or if I'm on a delay or anything. because my internet has been acting a fool. Okay, Bookie 8 says, mind you, one of the university's rule is that students can't even hold hands on campus, no kissing, none of that. See? But he in a full cuckold relationship. Come on, man. Do what you want to do, but don't think you're going to be a public figure and get away with stuff. That's not how this works. Now, if Miss Shanda came out that she was in a cuckold relationship, y'all would probably be like, Miss Shanda is open, you know. Stuart says he would have fit right in with the peach guy. Have a guy who's grabbing, you know, I'm not even going to say that, child, because you already know. So that's the Bochinche. I didn't want to spend too much time because I have to interview these beautiful women that are guests tonight in my pink room. And it's just like, I love having company. When I do interviews, it's like I have company. So I want to show my respect. So this is the book, Through Blind Eyes. Through Blind Eyes. This is the book. And let me tell you guys, before I have Christine come on, Christine Mayo and Bobby Bean, these are the authors of the book. Now, before I have Christine come on, I'm going to tell you how I came across this book. Me, Laz, and my good girlfriends went to the beach. And we were at Point Pleasant in New Jersey. And we were packing up to leave. We spent the whole day there, a couple of hours, spent the whole day there. And this woman comes up to me with this book. And she asked me, would I read her book? And would I be open to, well, she introduced herself, gave me her book, and asked me would I read it. I said, absolutely. And then she introduced herself, and I introduced myself. And I said, you know what? I'm going to read the book. And how about you come on my show? So fast forward, I read the book. Now, mind you, the book is so good. I read it in one day. One day. Okay? So what I'm going to do before I say anything else, I'm going to go on and bring Christine in. Okay, guys? So give me a second. Go live with Christine. And now we're going to wait for Christine to come on. Hi, Asia. She is connecting. And there she is. Look how gorgeous she is, y'all. Can you hear me?
Thank you. I cannot. Yes, I can hear you. I just can't see myself.
You can't see yourself?
But that's okay.
I can see you.
But that's okay. Just as long as you can see me, we're all good.
Hi, Christine.
Hi, Shanda. Thank you so much for having me on your show. Oh my God, I've been watching you and I love you.
Thank you.
I do. I tell all my girlfriends they need to watch you. You're very. You look.
Thank you.
Look.
Thank you so much, sweetheart. Thank you. Prior to you coming on, I was telling them how we met at the beach.
Right.
And
no, okay, so
yeah,
I'm sitting there and I gave a book, I sold the book.
Right.
And then, I'm sorry.
Real quick, tell them about the beach incident.
So I sold the book and then I turn around and I see this gorgeous woman on the beach. I'm like, she got followers. Little did I know it was you.
Right.
Like, little did I know. And so I came up and you, oh my God, and the way you were so humble.
Thank you.
And then you followed me and then I followed you and I was like, wait a minute, she got a lot of followers.
Child, my followers need to come up though. I'm getting there.
Look, and they will, because you're gonna do big things. You watch.
Thank you so much, sweetie. And I appreciate you coming up to me that day. And what I love about it is that we women, when we see something in another woman and not being afraid and saying, oh, there's just something about her. I want to get to know her. I want to introduce myself. That was something that I loved right away, that you just had the heart to do that. And for that, I'm so appreciative.
Right. No, but you know what? We as women, we got to start doing that.
Yeah.
Because that's the way we're going to help each other.
Absolutely, absolutely. And what I was saying to them about the book, before I had you come on, I was like, you know what? I'm going to read this book. I'm going to do my due diligence. That's one thing about me as an interviewer. I have to read and gain a lot of information, and then I have my guests come on. And what I loved about the book was that it kept me, number one, I read it in hours, front to back. So it didn't take me days, from front to back within a few hours, and it was done. That's how good the book was. That's how great.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah.
My writer is the best.
Yes, she absolutely is. And guys, if you're just tuning in, Bobby, who actually wrote the book is about Christine. It's her story, but Bobby wrote the book, who is also Christine's best friend. She will be on after Christine. As you guys know, Instagram doesn't allow 3 people on, so Christine is first, okay, if you're just joining us. So real quick, Chris, let's start with, what was your reason for writing the book? What made you think
my reason for writing the book, I want to build a community center in my hometown of Trenton.
Right.
That's the honest answer. I want to build a community center, so I thought my story was worth something.
That's right.
I mean, it's pretty entertaining. But now that I wrote the book, now that I belong to the domestic violence website, now that I see that this is a real problem,
yes,
my focus is, I'm still going to build the community center. I'm not getting off of that.
right.
But my focus is to empower women to leave and to own, like, we don't have to deal with this.
Right.
We as women do not have to deal with this.
Right.
Like, for me, I stayed so long because I thought I needed that man.
Yeah.
But now that I've left and I'm out of it, I'm like, I'm really mad at myself for staying any day later than after I got pregnant with my last daughter, Janine.
Yeah.
And that's when I should have left.
I don't think you should beat yourself up about it. I know that a lot of women do that, though, Christine. I know a lot of women, when they do get to the other side, they're angry that they didn't do it sooner. You think about the kids, you think about their self-worth. But I also think that, especially when you're married, that you don't want to split up your family. You want your children to be with their father and their mother, because for years we look at families that aren't like that. So we stay in a situation thinking that it is the best thing for our children to stay. Did you hear me?
Yes, it's the best thing for it. That's why I stayed so long. Right. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yeah.
That's why I stayed so long. Because I thought that it was the best thing for me to stay. Right. Like, I thought it was like, but it's crazy because my entire family is much happier now that I left.
You see?
My daughter and my husband, they repaired their relationship. Yeah. Now my daughter's like, I can love you now because she ain't with you.
Look at that.
My sons are happier. Just everybody is just happier. And that's why I want to use this platform to like, you think you're staying for the kids, but really you're ruining your kids.
Yeah.
You're not doing what's best for your children by staying in an abusive relationship.
Christine, I've always said, even years ago when I was doing my other show with my ex, children learn what love is through us, right? We could tell our daughters and our sons all day about the kind of person we want for them, but they're looking at love through what they see in their household. What does love look like? How does it express itself? How does it manifest itself in the home? That is the first example of a relationship to them. And that's a lot of responsibility as parents, that I don't know if as parents we always take that as serious as we should.
Right. And you know what's so funny, Shanda? Now, like, I'm noticing a lot of my husband's traits in my children. Wow. And that is really making me mad. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because I was the one that raised you. I was the one, but even though I was the one that did everything, they still watched him.
Yes.
They still watched, what he was doing.
Absolutely. And it's the old saying, children learn what they live, and it's true. They learn what they live. And not every child will do exactly that. But again, if that's their normal, it's very hard for them not to do certain things. You know what I mean? As in terms of the book, because I don't want to give too much away, because at the end I'm going to make sure that we share the link for people to order the book. But without giving too much away,
thank you.
I wanted to share with the viewers that you were raised by blind parents. And I wanted to know, did that parlay anything into how you chose your relationships or your husband? Was there anything in that experience that made it different for you?
Well, I think that played a part in me staying so long. Yeah. There was another incident. There was, and I don't blame, not blame, but I atone me choosing him to the loss that I suffered.
Right.
Because it was like I got that person back. Mm-hmm. And when I got that person back, I didn't want to lose him again. So now, but because I have blind parents, I'm a caregiver.
That's right.
You know what I mean? I take care of people. I wanna fix you. I wanna help you. I wanna love you, because this is what I was taught to do. This is how I was brought up. I was brought up to take care of people. So
I love that you said that. I love that you said that, because I think a lot of women make that huge mistake as caregivers, and we think that we fall in love with potential and not with the reality of what a person is.
Yes, and I fell straight in love. It was all potential. Like, cause my husband will build you a whole house. Yep. You know, like he's a good businessman. He's a good man. Yes. He just wasn't a good man to me.
Right. You see? Yeah, and it's not to take away from his experience, again, because I like for people to understand that even though men hurt us, they're coming from a hurt place. They got their own story. But we as women have to be in charge of our story, you know. And you know, he's still the father of your children. And even though he's done some bad things, you know, he has a right to redemption. But that's his responsibility. He has to take that responsibility on, not you or your children.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think a lot of times we women beat ourselves up over those kind of things.
We do. And, you know, I never... Like when the book first came out, I had reservations because I didn't want to hurt him.
Yes.
I didn't, I didn't want to hurt him, and I didn't want to hurt his character. But then, Bobby was like, well, he didn't care about hurting you.
She's right.
And he didn't care about hurting me. And then, like, so many women were inboxing me. Oh, this is my story. Yes. Like, women, I'm like, you?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
And you don't know what people are going through until you open that conversation.
Absolutely. And I think it was so important for me to have you on and to discuss this topic, because especially now with COVID, a lot of women have been suffering because they're around their partner all the time now. And, before, we got out and we went to work, but now we're around this person all day, every day, all hours of the day. And the rate of domestic violence increased during COVID. So, a lot of women are suffering. A lot of women go through this. And the story was important for me, for you to share that, because right now more than ever, we women need to take up for each other and to align ourselves with each other. Me and my girlfriend were having a conversation about the Black woman not feeling protected in this day and time, like with all the stuff that was going on with Meg Thee Stallion and, the guy shooting her, and how people were coming at her. And instead of her feeling protected, how are you feeling about that whole incident?
Oh my gosh, we just did a live yesterday on the whole Meg. And I need Meg to press charges against him.
Yeah.
Because if she's going to set the precedent for every other young girl going through whatever.
Yeah.
And she needs to tell these young girls enough. It's enough. We can't deal with this no more.
Right.
She needs to press charges against him. She needs to tell her story and let young girls know that this behavior is not acceptable. You have Drea on an interview talking about, I wish somebody loved me enough to shoot me. And I understand where they're coming from, because the first time my husband hit me, I was like, oh, he loves me.
Yeah.
So we're telling these we're telling these young girls that, you know, oh, if he loves you, he hits you, or if he loves you, he shoots you in the foot. No, Meg needs to press charges against him. Meg needs to get him locked up. She needs to, you know, like, enough. How much more of this madness do we need to take?
It's too much. And I, you know, in bringing up Drea, because I like to look at both sides of things. When she said what she said, yes, it was grossly inappropriate, but I understood where that came from, because if you peel back Drea, you know there's a lot of pain there. And there's a lot of stuff going on with Drea. So she was like a person like, oh my God, I need her in the pink room because I need her to explain why she feels like that. And you know, to look at you, to look at Drea, to look at Meg, you're looking at really beautiful women that people be like, wait, you are fine as hell. What you mean you putting up with some Negro putting his hands on you or doing this to you? People think only ugly women get beat up on. Actually, ugly women probably don't get beat up on. They'll beat your ass.
Right. But no, but you know what? And it's another thing. Men, okay, and this is, you know, this is my theory. Men use abuse to control the woman.
Absolutely.
But society has taught us that all these years, that's how you control people, coming from slavery. And we're not going to talk about slavery, but, you know, coming from slavery, the slave master used abuse to control his slave. So he taught the black man how to control his woman through abuse. And it's being passed down, and it's in our communities, and it needs to stop. We need to teach these young girls, and that, you know, we need to teach these young girls that we don't got to deal with this no more. If he wants to put his hands on you, you can leave. You can do. See, I stayed because I didn't trust myself. I didn't trust myself to do something better on my own. So you know, I thought that I needed this man to make it in this world, to get the things that I wanted to get. Even though I worked on my own, even though I had a good job, I paid my own bills, you know, I only asked him for what I needed and helped him build his business. I still felt as though I needed him to get the home that I wanted. I needed his support. I needed his help. So I stayed, but I want to teach my girls, you don't need no man for nothing. We live in a day and age where we as women stick together and we empower each other. We can run this world. We can take over.
Agreed. And I think it's so important that you were very transparent about feeling like you need that extra person to obtain the things that you want. And believe it or not, I have had that same mental space before where, oh, wow, you know, I have really huge dreams for myself. But if with my man, you know, it's going to be even this or that, you know, for some reason we have this feeling of insecurity, and maybe men too. Maybe they're just not as vulnerable saying it. But another part about the book that I really loved and I want to bring up, because I talk about sex and relationships, I wanted to bring up the sex in the book. Now, the sex is prominent, and I'm saying it because I feel, was there some part of the sex that kept you there as well? Like, because his dick game was all that.
It was every part of the sex. It was every part of the sex. Like even that was the hardest thing to cut off. I'm not gonna lie to you. Be very transparent. It was the hardest thing to cut off. Like, look, I ain't got nobody. Come on over. It was because it was so good, and because I'm a sexual person. If you read the book, you'll see that I'm a sexual person. And I like that. I do. I'm not going to sit here and lie.
Too,
like,
girl.
it's a beautiful thing.
Too. And
thank you.
And I love that you were so transparent. I love that you were honest about it, because a lot of times people will put up with stuff, but don't want to admit, he fucked me good. The dick is good. I want to give the dick back. Period.
Yes. No. Shoot. Look, I did it. Like, I was like, really? I can't even do it now. Like, no. Why can't we just be fuck buddies? Come on.
How about that? How about you just be
How about you?
But it's so.
But you know what? That wasn't happening.
Right.
He refused. And you know what? I'm sorry, but I truly believe, because the dick game was good, That's why he was so off the hook.
Yes.
Because, you know, girls is giving it up like they don't care that they my side chick.
Oh yeah.
They like they.
I say that all the time. There was a time that women were, you know, kind of in a back about being a side chick, but now there's songs about being a side chick. There's just, okay, it is what it is. Though I'm not a side chick type, I never got into that mentality of how women okay with being second. I don't want to be second. I need to.
I can't.
No, I need to consume
I
my
just
man.
Can't. Don't call my phone.
Exactly. I need to consume my man.
Because I'm telling everything.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. So one question that I really wanted to bring home to you was this, because I wrote a few things down. What would you tell your 10-year-old self about your life? If you could go back and give your 10-year-old self some advice, what would you say to her?
It's going to be hard.
Yeah.
In there. It's going to be worth it at the end.
Amen. Amen. It's going to be hard. Love is not.
It's going to be hard.
One thing I realized.
Because you know what? Honestly, Shanda, I would not give up my children. Yeah. My children, I have some of the best children. And I'm not giving them up for nothing in this world. The only thing I regret about my life is not leaving the day I got pregnant with my last daughter.
Right.
If I wish I would have left then, because I had her, I had my children, and you know, I'd probably be 10 years ahead right now.
Right.
But you know, you can't live for regrets, and I'm not going to.
You literally can't. And everything is in God's time. I truly believe that. And even for myself, when I look at things, I'm like, you know what, Shanda, you should be further ahead. You should be this, you should be that. And I've stopped putting time constraints on my life and just be present and be in the moment. And that's what I love about your book. Again, without giving too much away, the story continues. This is not the final. This is not.
Oh, that's not.
This is not final. This is part one. And I think it's important to say that, because if you think that this is going to end a certain way, it's not. She is coming back for part two. And that is what I love most about your story, is that it continues and you're still present and in the moment, and you're still growing. And we can continue to still write our stories. We don't have to wait for this big, beautiful ending like a Hollywood ending. We can tell our story during the process.
Because most stories don't have that Hollywood ending.
We do not.
And that's what I love what Bobby did with this. Is she cut it off at a place where it wasn't sure. I wasn't even sure. The book is very true. I wasn't even sure if this was supposed to be over.
Right.
But it's not, but it's not over. And not. Honestly, I feel like the story began.
Yes.
I honestly, truly feel like it just began.
Yeah. And
that was, you know,
yeah. And I also feel like women of a certain age, over 40, like myself, I'm actually over 50. But I always feel like.
You didn't need to tell nobody that.
Okay. They could Google me. So that's why I'm open to talk about it, because they could Google me. But, you know, it's like you come into your own. Like you're mentally there. And you're emotionally stronger. And now you're like, okay, now I'm in a really good place for a really good man in my life, because now I feel like I have my shit together. All the practice has been done on me. All the practicing I've done on another person is there. Now I'm at a place that I just want peace and I want happiness. And I say this all the time. If your relationship is not feeling like a pair of earrings or a dope watch to a man, like it's bringing beauty to your life, then you need to reassess it and maybe not have it. Because life is too short.
Thank you.
Life
That's all I'm saying. Yes.
You know?
And right now, I'm not ready to start dating. Right. But I feel myself getting close.
Good.
Like I feel like, you know, I feel like I might be able to go out on a date.
Right.
But don't expect me. Don't expect that.
Right. Well, I thank you so much, sweetie, for coming on. And I'm going to have Bobby next. Like I was telling you guys, the show goes so quickly. It's already 9:40 and it's over at 10. And the flow is just it goes so quickly. Again, guys, it's Through Blind Eyes. It is the story of Christine. Christine, let them know your social media so they can follow you.
Okay, so I'm on Instagram, Christine Mayo Starting Over. I'm sorry, Christine Mayo Breaking Free. I'm on Instagram, Through Blind Eyes, Bobby Chris. I'm on Facebook, Through Blind Eye.
Wonderful. And also, too, guys, I will be having the link to the book on a post, and also on my Facebook under Miss Shanda. I'll have the full link so you can just click on and order the book. Where can they find the book, though, Chris?
The book right now is on Amazon.
Wonderful.
That's the only platform that we're on right now.
Okay.
Unless you live in the Trenton area, I got a bunch of books for sale.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Chris, thank you so much, and I look forward to having you come back on, because at some point I'm probably going to try to hook you up with somebody.
Oh, please. Please. Do me that favor, girl.
Well, thank you so
much.
I
love you. Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome, and it was a pleasure, and I'll see you soon, and plus I'll call you too.
Okay, please do.
Absolutely. Bye, sweetie.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Hey, guys, so I'm back. So I'm going to wait for Bobby to come in. Let me see. Because Bobby, Michelle Bean, is next. We're waiting for Michelle.
Hey, gorgeous.
There she is.
How are you?
I'm good. Look how beautiful you look. How are you?
Look at you. I'm wonderful. I cannot complain.
Thank you.
I got to display, baby, because Miss Shanda, Miss Shanda ain't playing no game. And my daughter just walked away because she's shy. She just walked away. She said, she's not 50. She's not 50. I said, look at her. I said, look at her.
I'm not 50. I'm 52, to be honest.
Oh my God. Oh my God. You are absolutely gorgeous.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So we just had a wonderful, wonderful interview with Christine and her telling her story. But you are the actual writer. You actually wrote this book.
I did.
What was that like for you, writing this book? Because this is your first book. What was that like for you?
First book. Okay, so it was really a big feat because I knew I could write, but here I have my girlfriend, and I was there for much of what took place in her life.
Yes.
And I knew how important it was to get it right.
Absolutely.
Furthermore, I knew that at the time that we wrote the book, at the time that I wrote it, she wasn't out of the situation.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, okay, I wanted it to be a healing experience for her. And my prayer from the moment that I started writing it was that she would be able to see this on paper and say, no, enough is enough. That was my prayer. Mm-hmm. And then, too, I was charged with the task of being able to finish it, sort of, without finishing, but spin it to a point where we're not condoning staying in the situation. We're still getting a message across that you need to go. And so it was a task. It wasn't an easy task. And she was challenged with reading it. So I would send her the chapter, and it'll be like 3 weeks go by, and I'm like, okay, I guess she doesn't like it. Oh, no. But she couldn't read it. And it was so funny because she only gave me a sheet of paper with the timeline. So she was like, she thought it would be easy because I wasn't really there, and it was based on. But she said after she read it, it was like, okay, were you on the wall and I didn't know? Were you what happened? So she said I really channeled her energy, her spirit, her feelings, and so it was such a blessing when it was all said and done to see her reaction to it. To see where she is now, when I tell you it was all worth it, to see where she's grown, because I love her with all my heart and soul.
Absolutely.
And finally, she can see how beautiful she is.
Amen.
And that she deserves it.
And it's so crazy, like I was telling her, we see the beauty. We see her beauty. It's her coming into the alignment and seeing her own self-worth. And
absolutely.
A huge point that I wanted to make, especially with you, Bobby, was this. when you love your girlfriend so much, when you love your friends so much, and you see them going through this kind of marriage, this kind of abuse, how do you fit in all of it and stay a friend without staying angry, without walking away because they keep going back? How did you deal with that? Because a lot of people do deal with it, and a lot of people lose their friendships because of it.
Absolutely. I had some experience with that from some things that took place in my childhood.
Right.
My sister was abused. I saw a lot of abuse, so I kind of had a heads up on it. But I hadn't grown a tolerance for it. I have no tolerance for it.
Good.
So I remember one day vividly that she came and they had an altercation. And Shanda, she took me back to a place where I was crying like that little 5-year-old girl that saw my sister smacked up. You know, it was terrible. But I knew that I could not tell her. Nobody could make her or force her out of the situation.
That's right.
And there was no way I was going to turn my back on her to go through it alone.
Right.
Because I think that's what happens all too often. Women who are abused, their abusers isolate them. And when
absolutely, that's very true.
They can't see their way out because there's nobody there to throw them a lifeline. So I had to just I had to just deal with it, and I kept trying to egg him on to get him to swing on me because swing on me. Right. I kept, but he never did. He never did. But I tried. But all I could do, honestly, was pray.
Yeah.
Was hear her, you know, hug her when she needed to be hugged, watch the baby when she needed to be watched, and just be that support and let her know that she had an outlet. She has somebody that's in her corner. She's not alone. And I think that's the best thing anybody can do for somebody. You can't tell them you're stupid, and you can't do that. When you attack somebody that's going through that, you're adding to that pain, and that's just not the way to handle it. So I thank God that he had already kind of put me in a space where I could maneuver without ruining our friendship.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I loved about the book had great flow. And like I was telling the viewers prior to you coming on, was that I read it in one day, in just a few hours. It was that good. So you should be so proud of yourself. And even more so, Michelle, even more so is the sex, that you were able to write about the sex. Because, of course, I'm going to go there about the sex. You know, with the fingering and the wetness and all of that, I was like, I'm so happy she put that in here. Because, yes, we're hearing about the abuse, but tell me about the dick, too.
Okay, first off, imagine your mama reading that and she know you're wrong. Okay, so, now lucky for me, okay, now this is what I think about Chris. This is what I think, and I don't know.
Right.
But seeing the age that Christine met her husband.
Right.
I don't know that you had enough to decide that his was the king Don Dada. I don't know.
That's right.
I don't know. Now, my mother always taught me. Now, my mother has game for days. So thank God she's still with me. She has game for days.
Right.
And she always taught me stuff like Miss One, next 15, one coming. She taught me stuff like if he can't take you from an apartment to a house and a house to a mansion, you could do bad by yourself. She taught me things like that, right? So I was never the digmatized type.
Right.
I'm not saying I didn't have any good dick.
I'm not digmatized either. There got to be some more that you're bringing. Though my fiance has kind of digmatized me to an extent.
And he needs to. He needs to work very diligently to do that, because your mate, your eternal mate, is supposed to be. But I that didn't move me. But I like sex too.
Yes.
And so I could imagine these situations.
Right.
And I don't know how vivid my imagination was, but I think it was pretty good. I think
you did a great job. And I was like, I'm sorry I got to talk about the sex because, again, you know, we want to hear her story, but the sex was an important piece because it had a lot to do with her staying and putting up with a lot of shit.
It did, and I knew it did, but you know, like I said, I don't know that she had enough for that to be the king Don daughter, but if it is, great, but
exactly.
It's some kangs, there's some kangs out there. We ain't got one kang, it's some kangs out there. Wakanda forever, baby.
Right, exactly. I told her I'm gonna have her come back once because I want to try to hook her up with somebody when she's ready. I
said yes. I said yes, nothing more. Yes.
Right. In terms of you being a writer now, because now you have this great book out, what is next for you? What's your next story? What will you be writing?
I am going to keep on writing. So right now I am working on a relationship book.
Good.
And hopefully it will be out in the next year or so.
Wonderful.
Probably early 2021 is my goal to get that out. And I partnered up with Donnie Young, who might be on here somewhere.
Right.
I started Bobby Bean Publishing, and it's so funny, Shonda, because this was in my spirit for so long, but I was never a starving artist type. So I had to go get money. You know, I had to have my career, and for me to be able to be in a position where I can now do this and pursue my dreams, not just my goals. I'm so happy and I'm so blessed and I'm so thankful that my friend came to me and gave me that opportunity, and that Amen. She was so transparent with her life and her story that I was able to fulfill it. And of course, we got part 2, baby, which is unfolding right now. We got part 2, which is unfolding right now. So I'm super excited, and she and I will continue to partner on some things as we maneuver through this. But my first goal, my main goal, is that Through Blind Eyes is going to be a bestseller. I'm not letting that die. I want to see it on the big screen. I want to see it.
So, and I will do whatever I can do to help facilitate you guys in any way possible. And I would love to do, we got to get together and do lunch, all 3 of us, or dinner or something. Have you guys come to my home and we just have a girls' night, because I want this to continue.
Tell me when. I'm on the plane, honey. I'm on the plane, and you can come out to Cincinnati. I don't know if you've been to Cincinnati, Ohio, but I'm a good host.
Exactly.
I'm excited. I'm so excited, and I've got to say, from the moment that we first talked, your spirit,
thank you,
just resonates. You are such a beautiful spirit.
Thank you.
I can see why you're so gorgeous at 52, because it's coming from the inside out, honey. That's why.
You. I appreciate that so much.
That's
appreciate that so much.
And I thank you. I thank you, and I love you for giving us this opportunity, for sharing your platform. To your point, like you all were talking about earlier, a lot of women won't do that.
Oh,
you know, a lot of women won't do that. They won't see another beautiful woman and say, "Oh my God, honey, you killing it." They won't share their platform or share information or try to push. And I just thank you so much for that.
You're very welcome. You're so
anything
very welcome.
Anything I can do to help you along. And if you want your story told, baby, I am ready.
Thank you. And I appreciate that so much, Bobby. Please tell everyone how they can get in touch with you. Share your social media and your all how they can get in touch with you real quick.
Okay, I am on Facebook. I am Bobby Michelle Bean. On Instagram, I am michelle.bean.74. You can find me at bobbybean.com. I think I got them all. I think that's all of them. Yeah, I think that's it.
Oh, good.
And then all of what Chris said, because I know Chris gave all the other handles. She's in charge of that stuff.
Right.
That's
but also too, I'm gonna make sure that I have the links for the book for everybody. I'll also make sure I do a post after tonight's show that has you guys at, so they could just press on and then click on and follow you guys. I look forward to our next interview. I look forward to your next book. Both of you guys. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you that you went out on your own and you was like, you know what? I don't need no publisher. I'm going to do this book myself. And look,
it's God, and I know, and when God is involved, what God has for you is for you. Can't nobody stop it. So I already know. It's been in my spirit. I know what we about to do with this, and I'm just super excited. I thank you so much You gonna be you a part of the story now, honey. On it.
Thank you. That's right. Amen. And I'm just so grateful that she came up to me at the beach and just, you know, introduced herself. And look, here we are. God is so good.
Here we are. All
he
the
is
time.
so good. Well,
all
it
the
was
time.
a pleasure having you, my love.
I
can't wait to have you guys back again before Instagram cuts me off, because they will
cut you on the nose.
Yes. They will cut me.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Welcome,
love you. Love you. Thank you so much. And I'll see you soon.
Okay, honey. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye now. Guys, what a great show. What a great show. I love being able to have women come on and to share their stories. I was so blessed to meet both of these women and allow them to come on and be a part of the show and to introduce them to you guys. Again, I appreciate you all so much for tuning into the Pink Room each and every Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You guys are absolutely wonderful. And as I grow, I bring you along with me. There are so many great things in the works for the Pink Room that I'm so blessed to share with you guys and to bring you guys along. Stuart is a person that's been with me since Man and Wife. I started Man and Wife in 2007. Here we are, 2020. Again, thank you guys. I love you so much and I appreciate you. I look forward to seeing you guys next Thursday, again, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here on my IG Live. And again, guys, please, 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 please purchase this book. It is so freaking good. It is so good. I will have the links on my Facebook page under Miss Shanda, and also go on there and like the page. And I'll also be doing a post after the show where you can get the where you can buy the book. Okay, guys? I love you so much. I'll see you back here next week. Bye, Chris. Bye, Bobby. Love you guys. I'm going to stay in touch. I'll be texting you prior to the weekend so we can schedule something so we can all meet up soon. I appreciate you guys so very much. More to come from these beautiful ladies. More to come. I'll see you guys soon. I love you. Good night, Stuart. Good night, Bookie 8. Good night, Christine. Good night, Bobby. Mwah. Thank you guys so much. Where's my music? Where's my music? We need some music, right, guys? Jack! Mr. Thriller, the Thriller from Manila is on. Hi, Jack. How are you? I got to get some more pizza, guys. Guys, you can get Stone Pizza. Follow Jack Thriller. If you love getting high and food together, oh my gosh. Yes, Stone Pizza. Follow Jack Thriller and he will direct you to that. Jack, I love you so very much. That's my boo. And Hyper Hit 52. I don't know if you're still on, but I love you. Thank you, baby. See you guys next week. Good night.